dragon warrior is coming home.
Watching Kung Fu Panda again really made me appreciate how well written, well choreographed, and how amazing this movie and the trilogy as a whole is. The voice acting, the direction, the soundtrack, on all levels Kung Fu Panda is a masterful film, and one that has been dear to my heart since 2008. However, I want to focus on my favorite character of the film, Tai Lung. Whether it be as a foil to Tigress, a direct counterpart to Po, or as Shifu's fallen student, Tai Lung was a great villain, and I want to talk about why I love his character. Of course, I can't mention Tai Lung without first mentioning his prison escape, which is probably the coolest prison break I've seen. How the blue, cold colors interact with the warm reds, and the overall choreography of this scene is amazing. The decisions that Tai Lung makes is a perfect introduction to demonstrate his power, his ferocity, but also his cleverness. And it helps to further ground the martial arts in the film. While exaggerated, of course, he's not some superhero. He makes smart, quick decisions, and he is a really talented martial artist, one that worked incredibly hard to be this powerful. Later, when he fights the Furious Five, the fight is a stunning realization that he is indeed Shifu's greatest student. This battle highlights the separation between him and Tigress, the trust that Shifu had in him, and the trust that he doesn't have with Tigress. About 40 minutes into the film, we get the backstory on Tai Lung, narrated by Tigress. The baby cub who appeared on the steps of the Jade Palace was taken in by Shifu, who raised him and mentored him, showing love and care like a father. And one key line out of Tigress's narration was that Shifu told Tai Lung that he was destined for greatness. Tai Lung poured everything into his training, and as he grew older, he wanted the Dragon Scroll as compensation. But Oogway denied him it. In his anger, the Snow Leopard destroyed a village and returned to the Jade Palace, seeking out the scroll by force. Tai Lung's story sees how detrimental and how heavy the weight of expectations can be, especially when placed on by a parental figure. While Shifu never outright told him that it was his destiny to harness the scroll's knowledge, from Tai Lung's perspective, the Dragon Scroll was the be-all end-all of greatness. If he couldn't have that, then he couldn't be great. He couldn't fulfill his destiny. Instead of inner belief, the scroll became validation for Tai Lung, to prove to not only himself but to Shifu that he was worth the hard work that his mentor, that his father, had put into him. Not only that, the Dragon Scroll was the fruit of his labor. Tai Lung states how much hard work was put into it, the years he dedicated, the bones he broke, for the scroll that he was denied. This story of Shifu and Tai Lung becomes even more interesting when they fight at the end. And more importantly, when Tai Lung says that all of his hard work, his motivation, was for Shifu to be proud of him. And in his rage, Tai Lung demands that he says it. Again, we are brought back to the theme of the mentor or the parent. Shifu filled Tai Lung with this idea that the Snow Leopard was destined for greatness. And once again, the Dragon Scroll represents that greatness in physical form. It was the weight of Shifu's expectations, his pride, that brought Tai Lung to this very point. Without that physical representation of greatness, he was a failure, and failure drove him to rage. After Tai Lung demands that Shifu tells him that he's proud of him, Shifu does, and his mentor also apologizes, and the look on Tai Lung's face is shocking. Throughout the film, he's been arrogant and tenacious, but this was a foreign emotion for the Snow Leopard. All he's ever wanted was for Shifu to utter those words. Even with all of the love shown to him by Shifu, those words were never spoken. It wasn't the scroll that he was after, it was Shifu's approval. And you can physically see the weight those words held when the Snow Leopard's rage fades. In these 8 seconds, we see the real Tai Lung, the sense and the humanity that he has left. The real Tai Lung is still in there. Because in that moment, he's that cub again facing his mentor, facing his father. The way he so subtly walks into the light emphasizes that. Shifu is pleading for his son back, but Tai Lung brushes it off and returns to anger. It's too late. At that point, the damage was already done. He was already too far gone. He now has to walk the path that he chose and remember the rage he built in prison for 20 years, the isolation that Shifu and Oogway forced upon him, The expectation for greatness wasn't Shifu's anymore, but now instead his own. Now to prove to himself and to prove to Oogway and to Shifu that he was worthy of the power contained in that scroll. To prove to them that they have truly denied him his destiny. He doesn't want the scroll anymore for validation. He knows that he is strong enough to be the Dragon Warrior and to beat the Dragon Warrior. Now he wants the scroll's limitless power, to be strong enough to defeat Oogway and Shifu. That scene right there is why I love Tai Lung. He carried an incredibly human desire to be appreciated and to be valued. He felt that he was owed the Dragon Scroll as compensation for all the work he put in. From his perspective, it's only right. Shifu filled him up with air, with dreams, he says. Shifu made him arrogant. And when he wasn't given the scroll, the validation, it angered him beyond measure. And not only was he denied the scroll, Oogway said that he saw darkness in him, which I think hurts more than simple rejection, especially considering the fact that Shifu never defended the goodness inside of him. It's at this point when it becomes Shifu's story of failure. Shifu built up Tai Lung's self-image with nurturing, love, and belief, and of course, these are amazing positive qualities. But where Shifu failed in his parenting and in his mentoring was not instilling the snow leopard with humility, modesty, the ability to face rejection and to keep working. The scroll was never owed to Tai Lung, but without humility, he felt that way. Shifu failed by not telling the snow leopard that, by existing, he was already great, and believing in himself is what would have made him even greater. Failure changed Shifu. It changed the way he teaches and his approach to life. No one was ever going to be Tai Lung. It's interesting because in the opening scene of The Furious 5, Shifu tells Tigress that she needs more ferocity, Monkey more speed, Crane more height, and Viper greater subtlety. All qualities that Tai Lung possesses, that he's demonstrated. He truly is Shifu's greatest student. That failure, Tai Lung, stripped him of his smile and his love. It made him crave control, or the illusion of it, as Oogway says, until Po arrived. When I think of the theme of destiny in this film and apply it to Tai Lung, it's sad. Tai Lung's destiny was never truly his own.